Welcome to Tshwane, Pretoria, a city where waste, land, and human settlement meet in ways that shape daily life. In this video, we explore ecotoning, an emerging conceptual and methodological approach developed through the UP-TU Berlin Spatial Methods for Urban Sustainability Partnership. Ecotoning helps us understand how waste shapes space, power, and possibility. South Africa generates roughly 120 million tons of waste per year, yet only 10% is recycled. Much of the remainder flows into landfills that are now reaching capacity. These landfills aren't isolated infrastructures. They sit next to neighborhoods, transport routes, informal trading spaces, and transitional edges. We often treat waste as something to be forgotten, something that disappears once it leaves our bins. But as the presentation shows, waste is never truly gone. It is stored, moved, shifted, and absorbed into landscapes and human lives every single day. Ecotoning is a way of understanding what happens in the edges, margins, and transitional zones between waste, settlement, and governance. At its core, ecotoning focuses on how practices of co-constructing space emerge, especially in places where municipal systems meet community improvisation, informal action, and everyday survival. It recognizes that landfills, recycling depots, and neighborhoods aren't simply physical zones. They are ecotones, living boundaries where different systems collide. They are also ecotones, spaces where institutional decisions echo into the daily lives of residents, waste pickers, and municipal workers. Traditional planning often overlooks the lived realities of waste management, yet the waste value chain involves far more than collection and disposal. Ecotoning shifts our attention to the in-between spaces, the roadside where waste is sorted, the buffer next to a landfill where informal recyclers live, the riverbank where waste accumulates, and the makeshift depot that emerges out of necessity. By studying these transitional spaces, ecotoning helps planners understand where value is lost or created, how communities innovate under constraint, how institutional gaps shape informal practices, and where collaborative solutions can emerge. Ecotoning is not only a concept, it is also a method. It allows researchers to map, observe, and document the dynamic interactions happening in waste ecologies. As a method, ecotoning involves spatial observation, using drone footage, site visits, and mapping to visualize ecotones. Secondly, it involves institutional tracing, analyzing policies, governance gaps, and cost shifting along the waste chain. Thirdly, it involves narrative and ethnographic work, understanding how people experience waste, space, and marginality. And lastly, value capture analysis, identifying where opportunities for justice, livelihoods, or policy improvement exist. Ecotoning helps us move from waste as a burden to waste as a driver of regenerative futures. It opens new pathways for inclusive planning, evidence-based policy, community-led innovation, and more sustainable urban systems. As part of the partnership between the University of Pretoria and TU Berlin, this work positions Tshwane as a living laboratory where new methods, new collaborations, and new imaginations can help us build cities that are just, circular, and alive with possibility.